Hello. We are excited that you and your students will be participating in JA BizTown again this year. Before you begin teaching the curriculum, we would like to review some components of the program with you and inform you of some updates that have been made. At the end of the video, you will be asked to complete a short, comprehensive quiz. You should recall that 14 to 18 adult volunteers are needed to facilitate your JA BizTown visit. Volunteers that are recruited by your school must be entered into our online volunteer assignment form. The link to access that will be mailed to your contact teacher, or it can be found on page 6 of the Volunteer Info tab in your curriculum guide. Please be sure to enter the required volunteer data no later than 1 week before the assigned on-site training date. This date can be found on your Dates to Remember form. The information listed here is needed to complete the form. Upon completion of the volunteer assignment form, volunteers will automatically receive an email informing them of their business assignment, expected arrival time, and training instructions. Please be sure to verify the accuracy of the volunteer's email when submitting the form. There is no way for us to know if the email bounces back due to a typo. Because this email is generated by the form website, it can get caught in email junk filters. Please remind parents of this. We also recommend sending a paper copy of the volunteer confirmation letter home with the volunteer's child. This will provide the same information as the email in case they do not receive the email or accidentally delete it. Each volunteer participating in JA BizTown is required to complete one of two forms of training. The first option consists of an online portion that typically takes 45 minutes to complete. This can be completed at the volunteer's convenience, but must be completed at least 3 days before the visit. Volunteers who complete the online training must report to the JA BizTown facility 1 hour and 15 minutes before the students arrive for business-specific training. The second option is a 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. training session at the JA facility on an assigned day prior to the visit. Your Dates to Remember form, which is emailed to your contact teacher, will list your school's assigned training date. Volunteers who complete the on-site training must report to the JA BizTown facility 15 minutes before the students arrive. Volunteers who have participated in JA BizTown within the past 3 years are asked to complete the online training as a refresher, but they can arrive just 30 minutes before the students arrive on the visit date. If you know a volunteer is returning, please indicate that on the volunteer assignment form and assign them to the business that they volunteered in previously if possible. If your school chooses to elect standby volunteers, they may complete either training option. However, they should not attend the visit unless they are notified by a teacher that another volunteer has dropped out. Next, we wanted to remind you about the JA BizTown web portal, where some tasks can be completed prior to the visit. This gives students more heads-up time to interact with their coworkers and customers. Your school contacts teacher will receive a link that is unique to your school via email approximately 3 weeks before your visit. If your school is scheduled to visit for the full 5 hours, the only suggested task is typing the 3 chosen letters to the editor into the web portal. This will give the newspaper editor more time to respond to the letters and proofread the other articles on site. If the school is scheduled to visit for less than 4.5 hours, we require you to put the student's name and job assignments into the web portal. This helps us shorten the business startup time to accommodate a shorter visit schedule. We also strongly suggest typing the letters to the editor and any pre-written articles for the newspaper into the web portal. We have several online resources available to you. The first website listed is where our local documents can be found. These include the pre- and post tests, customizable letters, and documents for the BizBriefs extension activity. The second website listed is where the national resources related to the JA BizTown curriculum are located. These include digital resources such as videos and interactive resources, as well as PDF versions of the posters, illustrations, and core unit curriculum pages. This website does require a login and password to protect copyrights. The contact teacher will be given a login for your team to use. In the Business Management Unit, your student will be asked to complete a few tasks inside their simulation checkbook. Please note that these tasks are the only things that should be completed prior to the visit. Any check writing practice should be done in the back of the Citizen Guide. Students should complete their first deposit ticket that will be used to deposit their first JA Biztown paycheck. They are required to withdraw $2 in cash on this deposit ticket. Next, they should record their net deposit amount in the check register. Please make sure students are using their net pay amount when completing these tasks. The amounts are listed here and in your curriculum guide. Students should have their name and account number written on their checkbook cover, on each personal check, and on each personal deposit ticket before arriving at JA Biztown. Their assigned account number can be found on the business cost sheet. Now we will look at a few program updates. There have been changes to the curriculum, which means there are new teacher guides and new citizen guides. The new civics lessons will be reviewed during the new teacher training and returning teacher workshops. The old teacher guides can no longer be used and can either be returned to JA or disposed of properly. Any changes in the curriculum will not affect the simulation. Currently, JA Biztown pre- and post tests is only available in paper form. Like in past years, the credit toward your next year's school fees will still be available if 90% of your students complete both the pre- and post tests. The link to access the test is available on our local website. In addition to collecting parent consent forms, we ask that all contact teachers ensure that an administrator from your school signs a required waiver at least 1 month prior to your scheduled visit. Your principal will receive an email with a link to electronically sign the waiver after your JA Biztown materials have been picked up. This concludes the JA Biztown program reminders and updates. Thank you again for signing up to participate in JA Biztown this year. As always, please feel free to reach out to the JA Biztown manager, Duncan May, if you have any questions. We look forward to seeing you when you pick up your curriculum materials.